Hi, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. I want to start by just saying who this webinar really is for. It is for any women that are struggling with symptoms of fatigue, weight gain, weight that just won't budge, maybe. You just can't lose it no matter what you try. PMS, heavy painful periods, low libido, mood swings, irregular cycles. You know that hormones are an issue. You have maybe tried many different things, or maybe you're just, starting out on your journey, but you know hormones are an issue and you're not sure where to start. I have been a registered dietitian now for over 10 years, and I have been working with women to address underlying symptoms, just like I listed, and optimize hormones because hormones, we're going to get into exactly what hormones do, why this is so important, but then what all affects your hormone health and how we can address this with my functional nutrition approach, really working at those underlying areas and symptoms and slowly working your way up so that you can be feeling the best that you can, feel confident and comfortable in your body, feel confident and comfortable with the foods that you're eating, and no longer having to go down the Google rabbit hole of what symptoms, what am I trying to do, what supplements or new diet trend or anything like that that might pop across social media. It's so tempting with how much is thrown in our face to constantly be thinking, do I need to do that? Am I missing out? Everyone seems to have amazing results with this one supplement or this new trend, or I need to try it. You can finally sit back and say, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in what I'm doing, and I feel good. And you can just let all that noise pass you by, and you can feel happy and confident in your body. So that is my goal for you. And my promise is to guide you through that framework of exactly how to balance your hormones, heal those symptoms naturally, and get you feeling better. So, jumping in, I'm going to just start with a little bit about my hormone journey so that you can understand I have been here. I know exactly what you're feeling, what you're going through, and I've been in that frustrating, overwhelmed, just not finding any help or support that you need. So, really, I'll kind of keep this brief, but it's a pretty long, complicated story. But it really all started at a very young age for me. When I was 5 years old, I had chronic kidney infections. And so I was put on antibiotics for 2 years straight, which is a long time to be on antibiotics. And obviously now doctors and conventional medicine even understand how harmful antibiotics can be and how much they impact your overall health because of their impact on that microbiome. And that is a huge pillar in my foundation of nutrition program is microbiome and gut health because it plays such a huge role in your hormones, in the symptoms you're experiencing, and in your body's ability to, optimize metabolism and have a healthy weight. So I was on antibiotics for 2 years straight. Now, when I was growing up, antibiotics were just seen as a why not. Why not put the child on this, prevent any issues? So it wasn't a necessary thing, but it was a preventive. And for 2 years straight, that really threw things off for me. And I ended up going into puberty early because of it. And I had a super rough puberty, teenage years, even college years, early adults because of all of this. I had significant PMS, heavy painful periods, acne galore that I struggled with, migraines that I struggled with, weight gain, like just couldn't get it off. And I was put on birth control pretty early on. I was on that for 5+ years before I just like stopped it myself. Antibiotics, I got prescribed again for the acne. And then finally in grad school, I had already gone through my undergrad. I was studying, I was in my internship, grad school for a dietitian, and I knew what I needed to do for nutrition and health. And yet I still struggled with almost all of these symptoms. And I remember just trying to go to doctor after doctor after doctor. And one was like, you know what? I think you're just anxious. I think you're just stressed and anxious. And I was like, okay. And they prescribed anti-anxiety medication. I never took it. I knew that that wasn't it, right? You just know inside, like there's something deeper going on. And so luckily I never took the anxiety medication and I stopped birth control. And I really dove in. It pushed me into the field of functional nutrition and functional health and understanding the root cause of things and how we can really support and optimize the body's functions so that hormones, how they play a role with everything else as our communicator, hormones can balance out and you can optimize and work with your hormones so that you get the benefits of them because hormones are amazing. And I think a lot of times we talk about hormones as a bad thing and all the symptoms that come with hormones and poor women. But you know what? Hormones are amazing. And if we can get everything balanced and optimized and you can work with your hormones, you understand them, which is my biggest goal of educating women. Once you get that, you can now use hormones to your advantage and it becomes a yay. As a woman, I have these hormones to work with and I can really, get the results I want to, but we have to make sure that we're addressing the root causes. And then we have to understand what hormones are doing and how they're fluctuating and then addressing and kind of working with that. So that is my program. That is my goal. That is what I do. I teach women exactly how to do this and feel confident in that journey. So let's kind of start with what we get wrong about hormones. It's a lot, but hormones are just understanding they're not just a symptom or something out there on their own and only one certain doctor knows how to deal with hormones. Hormones are intricate in every single process our body has. Hormones are our body's way of communicating. They're our body's signaling system. So now hopefully that's just like a huge light bulb of hormones are so important and intricate in every single issue. And now you can maybe understand of why symptoms that you never thought were related to hormones definitely could be hormone imbalances. Digestion, stress health, poor sleep, inflammation, metabolism, detox, bowel movements, all this stuff play a role together. It's all intricate. So one thing I like to point out, because information is abundant, right? We're in this crazy era where information at our fingertips and AI and all of this, it's a bit overwhelming, can be confusing, overlapping information. And I also want to make the point that it can also be harmful. The amount of information that people can get their fingertips on can be harmful to them because what can happen is symptoms overlap constantly. And I'm going to use an example. One that almost always, if you just Google search or go into AI and say, I'm having hot flashes, what hormone issues am I having? It almost always is, you're going to see low estrogen, low estrogen, low estrogen, which is true. Low estrogen can cause hot flashes, but it's kind of seen as the reason. If you're having hot flashes as a woman, your estrogen is low. And so that might send you into a Google search or diving into social media, or just trying to find what can I do for low estrogen, right? Now you're like, okay, low estrogen, that's what I have. How can I treat it? You're going to start maybe with supplements or, changing things up or adding things in your diet that are specific for low estrogen. But the problem with that is that without the accurate information and really understanding where your hormones are, you could be doing more harm than good. And that's because high estrogen can also give you hot flashes. So it's just something that I really work with women on understanding and clarifying and helping them to see that information is wonderful. I love it. I'm not against it by any means. And I actually do really like AI too. But it's important that we have a practitioner that you can work with and can help guide you through this stuff so that you are not harming your body, you're helping. And so what that can look like is hormone testing to start and really seeing, where are your hormones? Because if they're high and you have estrogen dominance, anything that you're doing or taking for low estrogen can just be fueling your symptoms, right? So getting that accurate information, but then also understanding the root causes. So what I'm about to go into is my approach and my 5 pillars. And with that, just taking our example of estrogen, when you're working with a professional that really understands all of this and the functional approach, if I see high estrogen, I'm also thinking nutrient status and nutrient deficiencies that can fuel it. I'm also thinking gut health and the enzyme within the gut called beta glucuronidase. If that's elevated, then any work we're doing to bring estrogen down in production beta glucuronidase can just recycle that right back into your body and keep you in estrogen dominance. So gut health is important in microbiome. And the list kind of goes on and on. So it's not, unfortunately, which is why hormones are, kind of touted as so complicated, is because it's not ever just a single slap on a supplement and you're going to be fine. We have to understand how all of these different body functions work together and make sure that things are in line so that if estrogen dominance or low estrogen is present, after we know we've have optimal diet and nutrients, gut health is functioning, stress management is there, and you still have estrogen dominance, I'm right there with you. My body loves to produce hormones. I'm estrogen dominant, I'm androgen dominant, with all that stuff being in place. So if it's still present, now we can start to work specifically with supplements and herbals and things to target and help the body to balance out that production. And now you feel good and you will continue to feel good. So that is what a long-term solution looks like. And I'm going to put it into an approach that is easy for you to apply, easy for you to work through at your own pace so that you can let me know, all right, I'm good with gut health. I'm feeling good. Digestion's good. Bowel movements are good. I'm ready for the next step. And you can work through it, at your own pace so that it's truly going to be a new habit, routine, and it's going to sit with you. You're going to be able to learn as you're applying information, which is what I think every woman should do. We should all have, at least that baseline knowledge of what our hormones are doing. Lastly here, I just also like to make a point, birth control medications, they don't fix the hormone issues. They definitely do not work for your future self. So birth control can often be prescribed whenever a woman comes in and complains of hormone issues. It's like, here, just take birth control and you'll be fine. And you can kind of feel a little bit better, but guaranteed over time, symptoms are just going to pile up and it becomes tougher to address because now we have to work with these external hormones coming in and the synthetic hormones coming in. And it also turns off your body's own communication process. So you lose the benefits of your actual hormones, which can be, a huge issue for women and symptoms as well. And then every woman is actually unique in what level their hormones are going to be at for them to feel their best. So that's something too, where I think with some of the hormone therapies for sure, it's so black and white. Oh, you're in menopause. Here's a patch of exactly how much hormones you need. That is not the way to go because every woman is going to feel slightly different. So this is where being prepared and understanding that where your hormones are, testing, having that knowledge, then as you enter perimenopause, menopause, we have a really clear understanding of where your hormones need to be and how we can best support that so that you feel good and you can kind of bridge those symptoms that are so synonymous with perimenopause and menopause. So jumping into my functional nutrition framework, 5 pillars. We have foundational nutrition, gut health microbiome, stress and adrenal support, inflammation reduction, and then liver and detox support. So let's kind of jump through each of these in a little more detail so you understand what is all, areas that need to be addressed. So foundational nutrition, this is number 1 because nutrients are your body needs them. Your cells need them, your organs need them, everything, glands, hormones, it's absolutely essential. So blood sugar balance is in there because if your blood sugar is spiking and dropping, your body basically goes into this 5-alarm fire throughout the day because it's having this huge spike and drop, which to it is a threat. So we want to keep blood sugar balance, 1, just so the body doesn't see a threat, but 2, so you feel good too. If you're having crashes, your energy is crashing, your irritability, your anxiousness, all that stuff can spike and it becomes, just really uncomfortable for you. And then eating enough, including carbs, really understanding what does your body need and how do women eat for their hormones, because it is different. It is different for women than it is for men. And it is different for women depending on where they are in their life cycle. A cycling woman, we want to make sure that we're kind of tailoring our food to support estrogen in the follicular phase, support progesterone in the luteal phase. And this is easy swaps of a little bit more fat or a little bit more carb. And this is kind of how you space your carb out so that these hormones can really have their big effect. And you can feel energized and confident and high libido with the estrogen, and you can feel, calm and fat burning with the progesterone. So this is how we can do that with diet. So really does look different for women. And it's something that is, I think really fun to talk about and learn. And I hear that from the women I work with too, is they just find this new love for food because now they're understanding how it can work with them. And I think I, have been through it too, that growing up or as a young woman, you feel that, food just kind of feels like the enemy. Like what food is good for you feels like every food is bad. Fat is bad, sugar is bad, carbs are bad. And you just kind of end up restricting, restricting, restricting. So opening this up and learning what foods really work with you and your hormones and get you feeling good, help with metabolism, help with brain health and memory, help with your muscle and bone mass. Like now it's exciting. Okay, pillar number 2 is gut health and digestion, microbiome, all of that. So making sure we're eating this good, healthy food, we have to make sure we're breaking it down and we're breaking it down small enough that it can be absorbed and utilized by our body and our cells. So that is important. And then on the back end, bowel movement, extremely important. I can't tell you how many women I have worked with to address constipation and get them into a healthy bowel movement every day, or most days at least, because constipation means everything that your body and liver has pulled out and decided and deemed this needs to get out of the body. We have toxins, chemicals, dead cells, metabolites, hormones, excess hormones. It all gets put into the colon to be eliminated through bowel movements. And if you're not doing that elimination, that stuff can recirculate back into the body. So extremely important that we address and have healthy bowel movements. Common issues that you see with gut health when it's a problem: IBS, leaky gut, dysbiosis, which is just bad balance of bacteria, yeast overgrowth, that is a super common one, bloating, constipation, those are more symptoms. But these are things that we need to work to address and make sure that everything is flowing through the body and getting out properly. So the protocol to do this, we need to remove any triggers that are identified, repair the gut and the gut lining, and then restore the microbiome. So gut health really is something, even if you don't have digestive symptoms and you have good, healthy, regular bowel movements, perfect. That is wonderful. You still need this gut health microbiome because you need to prevent any issues from recurring. And then also understanding how the microbiome and bacteria, when you have a nice, healthy, diverse population, benefits everything that we're talking about. Benefits your hormones, your mood, your sleep, your metabolism for sure. Oh my gosh, the research that we see with metabolism and microbes, huge. So even if you're here and you're like, I want to lose weight and that's my big focus, I am going to challenge you, one, to think about all these other areas. I understand weight loss is a focus, but we're going to think about all these other areas too, and then see how all these areas are related to weight loss. And weight gain and frustrating weight that just doesn't budge are symptoms, okay? They are symptoms of issues in these areas. And that's why these pillars are so important for every woman to work through. Pillar number 3, stress and adrenal support. This is one I can say that I don't think I've ever had a woman be like, that's not a problem for me, right? This stress, I think we are natural caregivers. We put ourselves on the back burner. We, put a ton on our plate. We might say yes to so many things and put a lot of pressure maybe on ourselves. And I am so guilty of this as a busy mom, business owner, wife, friend, trying to volunteer. And stress can be a big uphill battle. So it's not about getting rid of stress, but it's about really managing it and understanding the things that you can control, and then having some really helpful, effective techniques for helping your nervous system regulate, helping to manage and calm that cortisol response, key. And that's just, symptoms, yes, play a huge role when we have stress out of control. But just for overall happiness, right? Happiness, emotional health, all of that, we need to be working on this. So stress and cortisol play a direct hormone connection and suppression, really. It turns our body basically into a fat storage mode, just stays stuck on. So the body, no matter what you do, the body, when cortisol and stress are out of out of sync, what I call HPA dysfunction, but I know that doesn't mean anything to you. But if you go into my course and work with me, you're going to hear HPA dysfunction and understand it very clearly because it's a big one. But your fat storage stays on. Your body, it just doesn't, it's not ever thinking, oh, I should get rid of fat. It's only thinking I should store more. I should hold tightly onto this. Because if we are in a state of stress, the body wants to preserve any energy that it can. Guess what fat is? Fat is stored energy. So this is why it's so hard to lose weight. Anxiety, depression, insomnia, irregular cycles, PMS, infertility, absolutely huge, huge connections when we have adrenal issues. So the protocol really looks at nervous system regulation, lifestyle techniques, things that you can implement into your everyday life and feel very comfortable about it. Adaptogen herbs are extremely helpful, especially when I can tailor them to exactly where we know your HPA function is. And then lifestyle support. Pillar number 3, inflammation reduction. So inflammation and stress, they really to the body sound off the same alarms. So what I just talked about, stress, pretty much plays a role here with inflammation. It blocks hormone signaling. Things that are going to fuel inflammation, restricted diet. Poor diet, yeah, but restricted diet is usually, what I work with women the most. And really, how do we incorporate specific foods into your diet that you need and not, overly restrict like you may be doing? Processed foods, chemicals that come in through that, household personal care products, again, chemicals, hormone disruptors, things that are all around us in our environment. Some things we can't control, unfortunately, air quality and, water, depending on what's coming in. But understanding the things that we can control and little changes we can make can have a huge impact on your hormones and metabolism. Toxins, poor sleep play a role in there too. So again, we want to remove triggers, understand working together. This is where my community is so helpful with the weekly Q&As, because as you're working through stuff, you might, run out of lotion or deodorant, and it's like, hey, Liz, I'm coming to the end of my deodorant or my lotion or my shampoo. Like, do you have recommendations of clean options? Absolutely. I mean, I give you this information too, but if you want, current or this is what I use, is this a good brand? We can talk through that specifically. So all those questions that kind of come up with you and exactly what you're doing and what you're using and what's in your house, that's where the weekly Q&As are so helpful. So I'll talk more about kind of these options of working together. But they just go so well with really getting you that progress as quickly as possible in your real life time and when you're ready for it. And then anti-inflammatory food is big. We absolutely need to be using and utilizing our diet as a way to manage inflammation and that stress response within our body. Lastly, the last pillar here, pillar number 5, liver and detox support. I think everyone has, heard of detox. Maybe you've tried detoxes here and there, but what I can say, what people don't understand, what I like to focus on is the liver. Understanding the liver is a vital organ. It plays such an important part. It is responsible for everything coming in. Let's take you're taking a nice multivitamin, you're eating super healthy food, all those nutrients coming in. The liver has to convert those into forms that the cells can use. So the liver takes everything coming in to make sure our cells can use it, but then everything floating around the body that needs to come out, the liver has to do that work as well. And then it does so many other things, but that's just kind of the easy way of thinking of it. So with that in mind, if we're talking supporting the liver health and supporting proper detox and flow, it's not just a once a year kind of thing. It's not a detox in January and you're good to go. This is a process that is so critical to our health, and it's happening 24/7. And when we're working together, you're learning all the different things that are kind of being exposed to you and playing a role in the symptoms that you're experiencing. You're going to understand how much pressure our liver is under 24/7. It has only increased and impounded. So we need to be doing things for our liver to support it and to support proper detox and flow all the time. It's not just a once or twice a year thing. And that's where I think the big fad with detoxes is so wrong in the way that it's proposed to people, because it's always this like couple day thing or a week long thing, or but something you need to have things in place, diet, lifestyle, maybe possibly supplements, depending on where you are and what symptoms you're experiencing, that is supporting your liver health and these detox pathways on a regular basis. What goes along with liver and detox is lymph. And so you see right here lymphatic drainage techniques. So our lymph is our body's like drainage system. And we need to make sure that this is very, very healthy. I talked about personal care products and making sure these are clean. So let's use deodorant as an example. If you're using a generic brand of deodorant, let's say sweat proof deodorant, sweat resistant. I'm trying to think of what they title it on the deodorant. It has aluminum in it, along with probably other chemicals, phthalates, parabens that are hormone disruptors. So think about where you're putting your deodorant, right? You're putting it right here in the armpit. And this armpit is surrounded by lymph. Okay, there's lymph nodes all around this armpit. It's also extremely close to your breast tissue. It is extremely close to your thyroid. So deodorant is a super important product to make sure that we're using a clean deodorant, and we don't want aluminum. And I know you're like, well, I don't want to sweat. I get that. But sometimes the body sweats more when you're trying to block it, right? Because you're trying to block sweating, which is a natural way of your body to detox and discard things that it cannot have in it, toxins and chemicals. So if you're blocking that with deodorant, aluminum deodorant, then the body might try to sweat even more profusely to try to get past the aluminum. So my goal would be that you're actually not sweating as much as you would if you were even using the aluminum. So once we kind of allow the body to get past that, detox past changing your deodorant and going to a clean option like Native, or I love Revive. Revive's an essential oil brand. But they have deodorant line that is really, I love the scents. They're so great. I have a cardamom one. That might sound weird, and I kind of thought so too, but it smells so good. So you get a nice clean deodorant, and now you're protecting your breast tissue, your thyroid, and then just your lymph as well. But there's a lot of lymph drainage techniques that we can use and you can implement, in your week to just really help support the body properly balancing and draining. So the protocol, we have antioxidant, fiber-rich foods play a big role, hydration, absolutely, gentle detox practices as well. So these are the 5 pillars. There are other things that we talk about throughout my hormone balance course, which also include metabolism, because I know that's a big focus for people. So that is also something that I like to talk about, and just it's really great, comprehensive, whole body approach. So let's talk through, women working together, real results. What do they experience when you're kind of going through these pillars? Increased energy for sure, less bloating because we get digestion, bowel movements all optimized, and then easier weight loss. I mean, I'm going to share some real life testimonials, but easier weight loss for sure. You get all this stuff in place, your body now feels comfortable saying, we don't need all this excess fat. All this excess energy, we're good. We know energy is coming in consistently through healthy diet and balanced nutrients. And we also know things are coming out. We don't have inflammation and stress just sounding off this alarm constantly. The body's happy to release that weight. So your body is not working against you. It's just you're not listening to the signs. And those symptoms are the signs of what the body is trying to tell you is wrong. So these are just a few that I pulled, and I'm happy to share more results with you if you want, but I'll just kind of talk through these quick. So I respected nothing was ever all or nothing. I love how knowledgeable the program was. Can't even count how many times I told my husband, why don't they teach us this in school? How am I 40 years old and never knew this? I think that's huge. And I totally agree. How did I become a registered dietitian and go through all the science classes and all of, advanced physiology, and I never learned about hormones? The only time I learned about hormones and hormone health was for pregnancy. So even as a practitioner going through school, it's like you barely learn about hormones. I love that your approach was all encompassing, focused on mind and body, using real foods and supplements, also so relatable about finding balance. It's not every decision black and white. Yes, because you can, maybe get some results if you go really hardcore black and white, but you're not going to maintain it. And I hear that so many times from women. I tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this, but they just weren't sustainable. Absolutely. And you need something sustainable. What is it worth if you sign up for a program or try new supplements or do this whole thing, but you're not going to sustain it? Why is it worth it? Do something that you feel really becomes part of your healthy habits, your day to day, your normal way of eating because you like it, you understand how it's working, and you can maintain it. It's just not worth it unless it's those things. Okay, while we didn't measure success by the weight on the scale, the number significantly dropped. I was finally able to feel confident and comfortable in my body. If you're on the fence about taking control of your hormones, I highly recommend it. Yeah, I see that time and time again. Is someone's? I even had one client. She again didn't know, but went to the doctor. She's like, "I'm down 30 pounds." I'm like, "What? You never told me that." She's like, I didn't know." She's like, "I knew my clothes were all feeling better, but I just wasn't focused." She was focused on gut health and nutrients and fueling her body and not the weight loss and not the number on the scale. That when she went to the doctor's office, the doctor was like, "What are you doing? How did you lose all this weight?" It was cool and funny at the same time. I now have more energy than ever. I feel strong, educated to make the right choices. You changed the view of my body and allowed myself to give a little more grace to my critique of it. I hope to continue working maintenance so I can keep keeping myself accountable. I think that's huge too, understanding what your body's doing for you. All these things under the surface that you just maybe don't think about, which is normal, but you kind of bringing that to the surface allows you to be, wow, my body is amazing. And now you feel more of a connection and more of a relationship, and you want to help it, you want to fuel it and work with your body. And then last, working with Liz was a step I needed to get out of the funk I was in. I felt like my mind was foggy, low energy, patience was lacking. Liz truly listens to your concerns, helps you work through them, and I'm so grateful for my time. Oh, that's a sweet one. Yeah, I'm right there with you. As I said, I'm a mom of two little toddlers. I'm a business owner, wife, take care of the whole house, like do all that stuff, put a lot on my plate. I know that it's, difficult to prioritize yourself. And I know that, you feel like you don't have the time or the resources or whatever it is. But working together really is about taking where you are right now, knowing where you want to be, and taking the small steps and slowly, gradually adding on to that so that you get there. And it's not overwhelming. And it's not this whole huge shift of your life and, schedule and all that stuff just to fit what I think is right for you, because it really needs to be where you are right now and slowly making changes and building upon those so that you can maintain it. So working together, how can I support you? Depending, I have a few options because I know everyone's kind of in different places, whether you're like, I am ready, I want to do this, I want to go all in and really prioritize myself and get this figured out. Then I do have private one-on-one support. Hormone testing will do all of that together, give you the specific results and specific plan for you and work through that together. So that would be, definitely the most comprehensive way to work together, fastest results. But I also have hormone testing on its own, where you can do the hormone test and I'll review it and give you personalized results and a plan to get started. And this is one that I wanted to kind of have on its own because I have people that I've worked with who are doing great, but just want to check hormones every now and then, which I do recommend and I do for myself, right? To maintain feeling good, we want to be able to monitor and know where hormones are and just catch anything before it becomes a big issue. So that's there for maintenance. Or if you're like, hey, I just kind of want to see levels and dip my toe into this first, and then we can, work together more directly after that. Totally fine. I also, most popular option, I highly recommend, because this is what I just talked about, the 5 pillars, is my self-paced online course. And this is 13 modules, the foundations of hormone health. We're walking through all those areas. And again, it's at your own pace. So we talk about nutrients, give you specifics, help you with recipes and meal plans. And once you feel comfortable there, like, okay, now move to the next. Now let's look at digestion. Let's look at gut health. Get that sorted out. If you're having this symptom, I want you to take this quiz. If you're noticing this, I want you to try supporting digestion, with these techniques and these couple foods. So it's really giving you that step-by-step approach, but you're able to work through it at your own pace. And then I have my private community, and this is where I hold weekly Q&As. And the weekly Q&As, it's something you can totally watch on replay too. You don't have to join live, but I always prompt with, hey, let me know any questions you have, any topics or products you want me to look at specifically. And then for that Q&A in the week, and you're like, hey, yeah, can you check out this product and review it? Or, hey, yeah, I have this question about, um, using spearmint tea, or what kind of teas do you recommend in the day, or, whatever the question is. I'm trying to think of I just had one where the mushroom coffees are a huge thing right now. Like, hey, I'm seeing it everywhere. Everyone's using it. Are mushroom coffees really beneficial? Awesome. Well, let's pull one up. What one have you looked at? Let's look at it and talk through if it's beneficial or not. So it can be, those types of questions, or it pairs very well, the community, with the course. So you're like, hey, I'm at this part of the course. I just listened to you say this. Can you talk a little bit more about that, or explain it in a different way? Or you recommended that I start, adding flax and organic soy milk into my diet. Are there alternatives to that? So whatever the questions are, wherever you are topic wise, the weekly Q&A are a great spot to get that additional support. So these are all different areas and ways that we can work together. We can group it all together. If you're like, yes, I just want to get into all of this, that's what I would consider my full program. So if you're ready to get started, which I hope you are, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this information, just getting that deeper understanding of functional nutrition and how it can help benefit hormones and just symptoms that you've been experiencing without results. So if you're ready to get started, you can click the link right here, lizreason.com/options. And this is going to be all those options I just listed right there on my website. So you can learn more about each option. You can go ahead, sign up, join me. And then if you're like, hey, I still have a couple questions, wonderful. I'm happy to talk with you more. So for that, you can just click this link or go to lizreason.com/application and just fill out a little more details about what you want to talk about, what's going on. And then I'll be in touch with you. We can book a time to connect over the phone. We can also talk on, Instagram. If you're on there, you can follow me at Liz Reason, and we can certainly chat through there too with any questions and talking more in depth maybe about any symptoms you're experiencing. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope to work with you soon. You really deserve to be feeling the best, and you are going to be a better caregiver. You're going to be a better mother, wife, friend, colleague, whatever it is, when you prioritize your health. When you understand and are able to find this new technique and habits and diets and routine that fits. It fits with you. It feels comfortable. It feels good. Now you're set. So that is my goal. You deserve to feel happy, healthy, confident, comfortable in your body. So I look forward to working with you. Please let me know if you want to chat further, if you have any questions.